Tomorrow, as I like to say, never land.
Hey guys.
How's it going, Craig?
Hey, Ryan.
And then we got Avery Piper as well. And what I'm going to do real quick is find the Novoverse. If you just type in your search up in formerly known as Twitter, but up in X, and you type in Novoverse, or you can type in Paris Hilton NFT, you can watch this live action. What we are seeing right now, you can watch it live. And that's kind of what we try to do here in the Novoverse, is project and give live visuals to this Web3 world, because it is a very visual world with tons of art in there, showing of graphs, apparel, you name it. It is all linked in with this Web3 access. So you can see it right there on the top, all these beautiful faces, or I guess two beautiful faces and an AR filter. And oh, actually, you know what I have? All right, pause. While you're listening to this beautiful stuff, I'm going to invite Craig Coinpurse up here to be a speaker, if that's possible. Sometimes it messes up with the echo, but I do have an opening theme song, so we'll let it play. So here it goes.
2369. 2369. We are in the Novoverse. Novoverse. We are in the Novoverse. Novoverse. We in the Novoverse. In the Novoverse. We in the Novoverse. In the Novoverse. It's lit in the Novoverse. In the Novoverse. NFTs in the Novoverse. The Novoverse. We are in the Novoverse. Novoverse. We are in the Novoverse. Novoverse.
Right, repeat the room right now. You can watch that live video. And actually, we'll talk about up top. Say hello to my Pixel people down below, which we'll talk about actually in a little bit, because they gave me a little bit of shout out, kind of in a Where's Waldo style of way, which we'll talk about. We're going to cover a couple of topics over the next hour or so, including a POAP. So stay tuned for that POAP. Retweet the room. But we're going to be talking about FriendTech, what direction it's going to go, arrow up, arrow down, going sideways. We're going to talk about Blur and what got unlocked on Blur, because those are the trinkets that build community and have people coming back. What's working, what's not working, where's the volume going, where are people heading into the NFT space. I myself am going to try to get some more followers and subscribers here on my YouTube channel, so feel free to go over to YouTube, where this is actually live streaming as well, the same video. So if you're not on Twitter and you're maybe listening later on, you can always watch the live video on YouTube. And there's also Fortnite video too, so I figured out how to restream PlayStation 5 Fortnite in there. And I have a Nike backpack from swoosh.nike, so a little NFT action in Fortnite, so sporting it. And then also in Instagram as well, trying to bump up my followers there in Instagram. So yeah, I'm going to show myself, but enough with showing myself. Oh yeah, and TikTok. So yeah, you can do that. There's tons of oh yeahs, but we're going to go around the room with these other bearded wonders here. Avery, how about you show yourself what you're working on with 2 and 4, and anything else you want to chat about here on this Sunday fun day?
No, yeah, thanks so much, Novo. It's great to see Craig as well in top shape, top form. I'm excited to chat today about all things Blur, all things FriendTech as well. I think we can probably just get into a little bit of the Sam Altman vibes. Basically mentioning what's happening there in AI would be kind of fun. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's going on, I think, along with everyone, but it's exciting times, a lot of movement with the world, and forward movement, I should say. But personally, as a bearded wonder, I am working on one project, which is called 2 and 4, which is my flagship project for my brand. And I'm working on building t-shirts, and the t-shirts themselves have a seed word on the inside, which they all connect together and create basically a passcode to a wallet, which will hold things that people can win. But these t-shirts themselves sold out all 12 for the first 12 during NFT NYC 2023, and now working heavily on the second set of 12, which I'm kind of burning through, as you can see a video there on my Twitter, just showing how I like hand draw all these t-shirts. And yeah, I'm excited for this set because this is different. These are both different looking, and I made them in a different way. So I'm always pushing my creative limits, and it's fun to make new stuff. So that's who I am. That's what I'm working on, and more to come soon. Hopefully, Q4, late 2023, I'll have everything I need to have together to announce more stuff. So yeah,
I love the
pass it over to Craig.
I love the plan words, burning through it. It's a total gamified version of what maybe like a community treasure chest could look like. Because well, one, I'm an owner of one of these physical apparels that have a word to a seed phrase in it, and you have to kind of, in my mind, is like find the other members to kind of collect all the seed phrases to maybe unlock whatever is inside of whatever. I mean, who knows? So it's a true community of trying to piece things together, and also trying to help me try to piece things together is Craig from Craig's Coin Purse. And just the weekly updates of what's going on with alpha in the space helps keep me 2 steps ahead. So a little bit about yourself, a little bit about what we're going to be chatting about this week, which would be a perfect segue. I want to say hello to Ian, who's down there, and again, a lot of my pixelated friends. Julie, hello, what's up? Appreciate the listening, and also MetaPanda. But Craig Coinpurse, take it away.
Yo, hello guys. For those who don't know me, my name's Craig, and generally I'm your resident DJ chasing volume. So yeah, hey guys, thanks for having me. Hello everyone down there listening to us today, taking time out of your Sunday, or if you're Southern Hemisphere, for me, Monday lunchtime. So hello everyone. I've got a coffee for a change. I actually got to get a lot of work done. So I thought today, less Asahi, more caffeinated, Craig. So bear with me. But yeah, look, I kind of had planned what to say, and then I've got, there's so much to talk about. The market's all over the shop at the moment. FriendTech took a nice little nice dive leading into the Blur airdrop, which is coming in hot for you Americans, I think. Probably the next 12 hours or something. So yeah, the market took a bit of a dump there. I've got some details. Actually, you know what? Nova, you've been looking at the market. Tell me what you're thinking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I can dive into the finer details a bit soon. Otherwise, I'll go on all day.
We'll circle into that, because I just want to give some shout outs real quick. One shout out to if you have an OG shoe from Nike Dunks from Artifact, you have 12 more hours to claim your Ghost edition of them. Avery Piper, check your DMs. I'll check them. I still have 2 more forges available. I'm not gonna totally. Oh, it's actually showing right here. This is my live inventory right now as it's showing on the screen. And there's 11 hours and 48 minutes. I didn't know that was going to be all live action. I don't want to click too many buttons, because somewhere in this is the address where these things get sent to, which I want to keep secret. But as you see underneath the shoe of the Ghost Edition, I still have 2 more available. So they're 0.11 ETH plus a little bit of gas. If that's something that you think you can possibly flip, the shoe apparel for the Nike Ghost Edition, there's only a couple ways you can get them. One I know is you need to have the OG shoes, which I had 2 sets of the shoes. I had some monoliths that I opened up that had the shoes, and then also the vials in them as well. And then I think there's a couple other ways that you can claim them. I don't want to speak totally into it because I'm not totally sure about all of it. And then I also want to give a shout out to a chat and We Are Pixel, which is We Are PXL. And in this, and I just love pixelated art. I always have. in this, probably dating back, embedded in my Nintendo, and prior to that, my Atari days. In this picture right here, it's just like a urban backdrop, multiple level stories, and within it, there's actually Crypto Nova. And they got big shades, they got the tassel hat, and they actually have the same outfit that I wore, the same tracksuit that I wore on stage at NFT NYC. So shout outs to that crew. I know there's a bunch of them listening down there. I appreciate it. Tassel hats off to you. And it creates, I love the creative concept in there. Yeah, I just want to give a couple shout outs. Before I pass it over to Craig so you can start spewing your knowledge. And while you do that, I'm going to actually post a couple things on top. So what I've personally seen in my FriendTech is this totally stalled out. And I've dropped things within the messages. I dropped my POAPs and messages. No one's really buying my keys anymore, which I totally get, which is fine. Still messaging in there. But then you have Blur on the other hand. And what it is like the market's breathing back and forth. If you imagine two balloons maybe connected at the mouthpiece of the balloon, where one deflates into Blur to catch that unlocking of transactions for trades in NFTs, and then maybe transversely once it goes back in there, then it's going to push that volume is going to push back into FriendTech to create the key transactions for upgrades there as well. So what are your thoughts on all this, Craig? What's going on in this market? And also FriendTech, there's not a lot of action going on. I mean, the action in it is just low overall.
Yeah, look, it's at I suppose it's a couple of things. I suppose one of the better things they recently added, which was this week, was a global feed. So that's something a lot of us have been sort of hoping and wanting for. E.g., you can make a statement now in your timeline on FriendTech, and everybody can see that, which is a nice addition, because obviously if you're someone who wants to generate more people, I suppose, buying your keys or growing your community, for lack of a better word, it would be nice to be able to use their platform to do that, rather than have to go to X or wherever you go to then promote yourself to try and drag people from one platform to another, right? So they added a global feed, so that's really cool. The other thing they did on a more positive note was the speed of the servers they're using now have ramped up dramatically. So you'll notice now, if you're using FriendTech, it's quite fast. It's quite usable now too. It was very clunky before.
I noticed that before, like when you send it, sometimes like I'd almost double tap my send. Like, I'd put like a real quick TY, and then I hit enter, and then I'd wait unpatiently waiting, us crazy Americans, like maybe a second and a half. And I'm like, and then I hit TY again, and then I hit enter, and then it pops up like twice in a row. And like, I don't know, like I saw that. And so that was like, what, just developments, because it was such
I guess the servers they were on were just getting throttled by how many users just came in so fast.
It just massively pushes down the amount of people that are using it all at one time in 1 second. And I could see that, and they have to scale. They have to scale to what's right. So, all right. So they have an upgrade with that. So money put to use there. What else is going on with them?
Yeah, so like I was saying, so the global feed came into action, and something else they've introduced on top of that layer is a voting system now, so almost a social currency. So depending on what your, I think it's your portfolio value is at that time, that's how many daily votes you get. So you can go to the global feed in FriendTech and you can upvote people's comments, right? So similar to, I suppose, a similar thing to Reddit with Moons. How you can go on Reddit and you can upvote people and downvote people, and I suppose over time, hopefully you see cream rising to the top. So the people with the higher social status or credit there will be the thought leaders in the space, or the people that provided more accurate value. So looking from I suppose just from a purist view of them adding to the ecosystem and building on top of it, we've seen more done in the last week than we probably saw in the last 3 months. Or last 2 months. So that's been a positive. What's been a negative, or perhaps what's hurt them a bit, although this is easy to say in hindsight now that the price has taken a bit of a dump, which could be from other factors, is perhaps people have been frustrated long enough there that now that they've accrued enough points, so say someone like me that's been there from the start, I've got a decent amount of points sitting there. So theoretically, I suppose I could bounce now, sell my portfolio, walk away with a few E3, and pray to God that the points come in at a decent value, and I'll walk away with profit for my time. So I suppose that's what a few people are thinking now. They've been there long enough in the farming that they can de-risk a lot if they like, especially if they were there right from the start when the TVL was pumping and they could have flipped for profit like I did at the start. So I suspect that's what happened. And with Blur coming in soon, I saw a few comments saying that there was a time limit, or there were a few farmers today that were trying to hit a few milestones. And I think a couple of those milestones to hit required liquidity. So I think a few farmers from FriendTech have sold up, quickly gone there, pumped some money into there to obviously maximize their return. And then, like you said, we might see a vacuum effect once that Blue airdrop occurs. Obviously, that liquidity will go somewhere. FriendTech may be a place that it goes, especially now that keys have lost, some of them have lost upwards of 50%. So what you might find is farmers that have withdrawn capital from FriendTech might actually pump this right up. Now, be careful with that statement. Don't rush in. It's probably a good time. Myself, I'm just going to sit back and watch. I guess I'm in a nicer position to be able to do that. I de-risked about 4 weeks ago. So I was I'm at break. In fact, I'm at break even plus portfolio value. So I'm up, right? So if the whole thing fell apart, I'm okay.
So you're almost playing with house money, which is smart to do, to take your risk out of it, like you said. You could still sit there and wait for the upgrades that they have coming up. And here again, we're talking about FriendTech, isn't that correct? And then I'm also curious to what happens in the January timeframe for possibly people that have those keys and those key holders that have within there. But it is kind of the time where, you kind of see what works and what doesn't work and what people are flowing into and not flowing into. And I didn't dive too deep into FriendTech at all, outside of just trying to have a weekly or bi-weekly response towards it in there, and didn't really go the farming route, didn't go the threes routes when that was a popular thing, and kind of just tested the waters, I guess you'd say. And, it's the same thing as, do I cash out? Do I cash out to buy some more artifact shoes? Do I cash out to do that? But I think I'm going to wait and see and kind of diversify, because right now, selfishly speaking, I am playing with house money and people buying my keys for the comments, and I still want to add value. And that value does come in POAPs, so everyone hold tight for 10 minutes, and that will also be pre-dropped in FriendTech. So if you want to get those POAPs now, you can go in FriendTech. So I guess that's the added value. And anyone within FriendTech can share art and come on the show too. So those are the things that I'm holding true to what they're trying to establish within that ecosystem, and maybe something that Twitter has not, or formerly known as Twitter, X has not provided for people. But that is still my open wavelengths. As I see Ian giving me some love down there, I want to say what up to K-Swag. Anyone going to be heading out to Art Basel in Miami, make sure you visit K-Swag out there. And Studio Payman, good to see you listening as well. We are touching base and kind of seeing what is happening with the vacuum effect, as it's called. I like that. With Blur and FriendTech, if that volume is maybe getting pushed back and forth, I'm seeing some volume leaving the cryptocurrency and getting distributed a little bit back into NFTs. But I'm still kind of curious if we're in this echo chamber. One person that I would always listen to back in the day, and this, feel free to have people you listen to, but his name is Crypto Jeb with Jebb, and he's a brainiac that dropped out of MIT and just got into cryptocurrency like way back in the day, been through the same cycles I had, 2 cycles through Bitcoin, and has seen the ebbs and flows in the market. And he's worried that we are in a little bit of an echo chamber here, where you had this huge ETF news and it really hasn't skyrocketed there. It's almost like sell the rumor type situation. And even we had Gordon go bananas, buying a zombie and other epic pieces out of a lot of staple collections, top shelf collections, and really no huge surge after that. Some, almost trading sideways, but nothing super bonkers. So I am a little curious what's going to happen in there. Within that curiosity, the POAPs, which will be distributed in 8 minutes, within the last couple of weeks, if you've been collecting the POAPs, actually has a record of the different meme coins, different popular altcoins in there to kind of track it through history. So you can check it weeks or months or years from now and see where different coins were, or if they even still exist. So I'm a little worried that we're in an echo chamber within all of this, within Web3, within cryptocurrency. I think it's going to take a huge movement, like a geopolitical movement, something that's going to really have the something really big behind it. And maybe it is the ETFs that are coming out there. Thoughts, AP or Craig?
I mean, I don't have to, I feel like it's over my head, Novo. I feel like one thing that I've been reading, or at least I'm getting a little more into, is understanding Blur. I never really got into Blur, even, during their first airdrops. And now looking at some comments on Twitter about, basically there's, I think because of that airdrop, people are now at least kind of dumping the floor price or dumping the loan price. So I don't know. It's mostly over my head, but I'm beginning to understand a little bit more, and basically through reading and getting educated on Twitter. But just looking now at that specifically, I think this kind of makes me want to get a little more into Blur. But I know it's kind of what's it called? It's a heavily debated marketplace, whether this is actually healthy for the market or the greater ecosystem at large. But yeah, that's just my thought. I'm just getting educated, and I don't really have an opinion yet.
One thing that I would stress to people is know your local law and what's happening with taxes as well, because like getting free coins, you have to pay taxes on them. I mean, nothing's really free if you end up spending them or selling them or trading them out. At least in the States, do your due diligence on all that. Because before Blur, what was it? You get rare coin, rareable. And I remember wrapping CryptoPunks and selling CryptoPunks plural on that. And same thing, like right before that deadline, just like, I don't want to say the word flipping, but yeah, flipping CryptoPunks and selling it there at a discount and almost buying it back on platform because you get the token supply drop. And at the time, like those tokens were, a couple bucks. I mean, you'd be making tens. I don't know how much you'd be making. Don't quote me on anything, but you'd be making a little something to make you really tune into what the return would be on some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just looking at the market on a whole, just to touch, Nova, on what you mentioned about the ETF and sort of hyped it and things like that. It's looking at it just zoomed out. I mean, for me, Bitcoin's still sort of holding above that 37K. Super good signs. And then Ethereum, I think Ethereum went back over the 2K today. And Solana just is 61, which is 5% for the week up as well, which is cranking. And now I'm noticing the degens are starting to, over the last sort of week or whatever, getting into Solana meme coins, with some of those absolutely pumping. And you've got a coin called Bonk, which is 270 million meme coin over there. So it's good to see Bitcoin still hovering around this mark and not tanking, even though ETFs haven't been really cleared up much more. Ethereum as well, that some news had come out obviously about that and sort of pumped, and sort of we're still sitting there. Solana's still sitting nice. So
I mean, if you're looking at Bitcoin right now on this chart, and if those of you who aren't privy to tuning in, I know JR, our token down there is. Congrats on the teaser drop with the Sapien t-shirt drop with Jeff Staple. But if you look at the Bitcoin chart right now, we're looking at the monthly, and you can look right up above, swipe to the right to Paris Hilton NFT right there, and you can watch it live. It's an upward flag. You can see the pennant flag coming up from 29,000. That's the flag pole. And then right around 34,000, it starts going up, and it's slowly leaking up, slowly leaking up, slowly up, slowly up, slowly up, slowly up, all the way up to 37, where it's bouncing a couple times right there. And once it gets tested 2-3 times, sometimes those tests start breaking through. And a lot of this is uncharted territory outside of major the major market run, back in the day. So once it reached different Bollinger Bands, like right here, once it reaches that 40,000 mark, Bitcoin really has only been above it for, I don't know, maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe 8 months total in its entire life. So there's not a lot of time for it to lock in gains.
Yeah, and with Bitcoin sort of holding these levels now, we spoke about, I think it was probably at least the last 2 weeks, about what altcoins are now being allowed to run, because that's kind of, especially with Ethereum going up, it's allowing some of these altcoins now to pop off a bit and get a bit of confidence. And we spoke about gaming coins the last few weeks, and obviously DeFi, but gaming coins, I had a quick look before, and they're still moving really hot. I put a post up on Twitter, and check that out, guys. A few people wrote back to me and wrote other gaming coins I hadn't really noticed what had gone up. But you've got something like Epic Prime that's up 100% for the week and 600% for the month. Now, like 600% is massive. Like even for meme coins and shit coins, and like that, 6x is nice. That's kind of what we're looking for when you're sort of taking bigger gambles or bigger risks, or in areas that are perceived as riskier. So a nice clean 6x there is really nice. And then you've also got, you've got Cedarfy, which is one I tend to look at. It had a good run last bull. It's a launch pad for other gaming tokens, and that's up 190% for the month and 18% for the week. So, that kind of gives you an indicator on, I suppose, I was going to say the health, but not necessarily the health, but the perceived health of that space at the moment. So you've got Decentraland up 50% for the month, Sandbox up 50%, and then touching on DeFi, SushiSwap's up 100% for the month. So some really nice coins that I remember from the last bull run that are getting good volume now. It takes quite a lot to move some of these coins. Like Decentraland and Sandbox are quite large. So, some of these moves that we're getting are quite nice to see. So it almost it looks to me like the market, meme coin wise, is very temperamental at the moment. I'm kind of trying to steer clear of it, because I feel like the market at the moment doesn't quite, it feels like a lot of the retail money or the dumb money, or maybe the money like me, isn't quite 100% sure where to move yet. And I feel like those that are more certain are the ones that are moving the coins that I just spoke about. And they're the ones that they've made their choice, bigger money. And I sort of wonder when, it would look, I guess retail, you could say, starting to follow now, because I'm seeing more and more comments on Twitter about coins like UFO and, gaming coins that were from 2-3 years ago that had good pumps that are now coming back. And I haven't heard those mentioned in, a year and a half. So the fact I'm seeing them again, it's like, I guess people like me are taking notice, and, we'll start to speculate on them, and then others will as well. So we could see some pretty nice, altcoin rallies coming up. That would be nice, So apart, a bit different to the more, I guess it's all very speculative, but sometimes basing your money on a meme coin, as fun as it is, sometimes it's nice to put it into something a bit more substantial, but more of a bigger meal. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. Yeah, Flow's another good one to check out. That had a nice run last bull, really nice. What's the all-time high in Flow? Did it get to like 35?
Well, what about Disney and Flow? Flow is up at 40. I was back in the heyday of NBA Top Shot, but like, now they have Disney underneath the belt, and I think that's just because I think Flow is regulated, and they know that if they've had NBA underneath the belt and has had dealt with the lumps of NBA and UFC and Dr. Seuss and a couple other huge names that they have been with, but like, I mean, that could be a sleeper down there, Flow, because they have been through it. They have had upper management for feels like years now. We were looking prior back to GALA coin there. That's up almost 100% per month. But I think that's a foundation, like you're saying there, Craig, is going to be those game coins because people have put time, energy into all of those to produce something for return. And I think with that will be the backing of a meme coin further down the road. It's kind of like that waterfall, the trickle effect is where the coin economics help pay the developers that are actually building the cool stuff. They want to buy cool stuff. They start buying the NFTs. They want to level up. They want to get the mutant ape. They want to get the bored ape. They want to get the crypto punk. They want to get the nostalgia pieces and cashing out their coins for making good returns on that, for hopefully getting in at a low price. I feel a lot of institutional investors have already set their balance books and have bought in. So I'm hesitant. I don't know what direction either of this is going to go. I can't afford to hold any bags. I'm not in that position anymore. So it's trying to stay 2 steps ahead. And I am drifting into looking what happens in the altcoins, but then also drifting into the physical goods too, and getting something, a shoe that is rare just because I held an NFT could set it apart from selling a regular NFT, because these NFTs are going to have like gibbets on it, these artifact ones where they're going to have attachments to the tongue, to the heel, to the sole of the shoe that's, make it look cool as F. But I think it's about that POAP time right now. So if you have a POAP, little wallet there, open it up and get the buttons ready so you can claim it. It's going to be a word. It's going to be a 4-letter word. Don't worry, it's not a dirty word. You can click on mint down there. It'll be secret word. The secret word is blur with a capital B. So blur with a capital B, capital BLUR, and that will unlock the POAP for tonight. On the POAP is an atom bomb that I sold. So I did see an uptick in the market. It was a basketball atom bomb. We did talk about last week. It did sell. I did put it on there on the POAP saying good farewell to it. I mean, there was something that was bid on in OpenSea. I accepted the bid so it could have happy trails elsewhere. And I hope the owner can reach out to me and I could share that POAP with him or her, or that alien ape or zombie. But you can claim that POAP right now for the next 25 minutes if you're listening or watching live, because we have tons of people watching. I was actually looking on Craig's Coin Purse Twitter handle right there, and he had a bunch of viewers before, and over on Paris Shilton we had a couple viewers watching. Haven't been able to check 166 viewers right now on Paris Shilton. So thanks. That's a ton of viewers right now that have watched, gone through, and have seen this content. We'll see if anyone's watching live here on YouTube. I don't know if anyone is or not. We got 2 watchers live on YouTube. Thanks for watching in on there. And we are on Twitch as well. And for all of you listening, I greatly appreciate that. That's why the POAPs are at your disposal. So claim those POAPs. I know Token claims those POAPs. I was at the Beeple event and I saw Patricio, and he thumbed through who was claiming the POAPs. He's like, hey, who's this JRR token? Because you can see how awesome they are at claiming POAPs. And he was up there in the hierarchy of POAP claimers. He's like, I got to talk to this fella. Well, JRR token actually wasn't at the event. And I gave him one for proof of awesomeness protocol. And so Patricio was looking for him. So I didn't want to say I fibbed to Patricio, but I said he was around the area. And when I meant around the area, he was in New Jersey or New York at the time, which is just north of North Carolina or South Carolina. So sorry about that fib, but I want to keep it honest. But you know what? JR Token does his due diligence within the space and has earned any POAP that I create ever. So that's my stamp of approval for him. Avery Piper, what do you want to chat about here? We talked about some of the markets. We talked about some of the altcoins there. Marka, howdy, how are you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Another fellow crypto punk. Love the green clown eyes right there and the mohawk. I appreciate it, looking sharp. But AP, this is like one thing kind of back in the day. Markets are cyclical for me. And prior to NFTs, all there was coins and altcoins, so you kind of like look at the foundation of like what happened with Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin would pump, and then like maybe like 4 or 5 minutes later, Ethereum would pump, I mean, there'd be that lag, and then 10 or 15 minutes later, another altcoin would like pump because someone would put a tweet out, and if you're following that person, and then it'd go crazy. And, I'm almost seeing it again now where you hop on the right wave of altcoin. Sorry, I have an echo there. If you hop on the right wave of an altcoin, like you can double up real quick. But if not, like if you're in that NFT phase and you have NFTs in your wallet, I mean, right now might be the time to unload some bags, even if it is maybe at a loss, or like, the project isn't something that you thought it was going to be. So there's multiple ways that you can play it. If you have an NFT, if you have different cryptocurrency, or if you're just maybe making an entry point. Then again, none of this is financial advice. It's just learning together.
I mean, I agree. I think now's an interesting time. I think you're, and this is not financial advice either. I think right now is a nice time to either, especially for people like coming on board, there might be 1 or 2 people watching this video or listening in who are very, very new to this space. Like, I think it's a really interesting time to buy.
We got 166 watching.
Exactly. We should have 1 or 2, I think, unless they all know but which is very possible.
Yeah.
A lot of people. I truly think it's an interesting time to both buy and sell. I don't think we're in a place where, it's a red flag for either one. I know you guys are talking about, right now is also, there's some trepidation or there's some speculation around like if this is just an echo chamber, which I think is very possible, just generally speaking. But one thing I've been thinking about a lot, Novo, and this is maybe something we could talk about another time too, or transition to, but I really want to know how companies like Yuga and like Artifact are going to make money long term, and how they're going to be profitable. Because I think, the long tail of royalties, at least in my mind, is basically these 2 parallel paths. One of people who are comfortable, paying royalties at a certain amount, and those who aren't. And what's nice about the world of Web3 is you still have a choice to pay royalties or not. I like to pay my royalties, and I think people should. And, like you guys making this new platform with Magic Eden, right? Which is supposed to like make sure to enforce these royalties. But just because, that platform exists, the marketplace exists, doesn't mean people are going to use it and it's going to be enforced there. So in my mind, I'm thinking a lot about how these companies are going to be profitable. And I think for Artifact, it's a little bit more clear to me when it's they have physical products. Like their whole thing is about, this in tandem physical and digital. They're really, really about that life. And they've really done an amazing job, with this new shoe right here that you have pulled up is a great example of. So they can always charge a little more premium for the things that they sell, and they don't have to think as much about royalties. But with a company like Yuga, I think it's a little more important for them to really focus on royalties, especially if they're not, they're doing experiential, but they're not doing as much merch. They're doing collabs. I think they're still kind of experimenting. They're doing some games. I think it's not quite as clear in my head, but it could just be because I have a little bit more knowledge about the physical products of the Web3 world. But I don't know, either of you guys' thoughts about that. I think it's a concern that I have generally with the health of this space, how royalties long-term, because it was a big discussion early on, but really, in the next 5 years, how a royalty is going to have a major effect on these large collections like Azuki and Pudgy Penguins and stuff like that. Pudgy's done a good job with physical stuff too, but yeah.
One of a lot of this like distribution, so getting it into multiple wallets, but like it needs to go back to the creators at the end of the day, because if not, it's kind of this like goes back to like, hey, you made this, you franchised this, but then you're the one that's kind of the person, begging for change on the sideline, where everyone else is just making hand over fist off of you. But then also, like you're saying, like AP is like you do have to sell, and I just pinned at the top of the spaces up there, is that Craig, you had to shed some blood there with some, FriendTech cells that you had to sell as well.
Yeah.
But what those cells do is that opens up opportunity generally to buy something else, like even if it is to pay off bills, but like generally that money is used to buy something else. So did you repurchase? Did it go into the ecosystem? Are you holding money on the sideline with it? I mean, you don't have to tell us personally what you're doing, but like, what are options that you did because of the sell? Because you're, maybe selling before there's a larger sell-off, possibly.
Yeah, for me, it was ultimately to de-risk, so to make my investment zero. The other thing was the timing of it. I saw a bit of panic selling, and I was like, well, I'll de-risk the last little bit that I've been meaning to anyway. And it was only two keys I had to sell, so I was like, well, out of the 30 something I hold, if I sell two and I'm at break even, then I can't lose, right? The other thing was I wanted a bit of, and you hit the nail on the head, I wanted a bit of liquidity to play in the market in altcoins with, just because I see an opportunity there, and I feel like the opportunity there, for me, I guess diversification. I wanted to get a bit of skin out of the game and out of FriendTech and start getting a little bit more skin in the game with altcoins, seeing how they're running. I've got some money in meme coins at the moment, which I'm pretty comfy with. So I'm happy kind of just to let that sit for a little bit. But I wanted to, rather than, going to the bank and taking money out, I thought, well, I'll just take that money out of FriendTech that I've got sitting there, not, 10% of it. And I just wanted to put a little bit of that into alts, more as a medium-term hold, so no quick flicks or anything like that. Just stuff that I wanted to kind of wear through the end of this quarter into next quarter, and just stuff that I'm kind of going to bet on quite hard, not in the way of the size of the bet, but the amount of time I'm willing to handle downturn, if that makes sense. So if there's a steep drop, I've got the stomach to go, oh, that's okay, and still believe. So yeah, that's kind of why I took a little bit of money out of there. So I guess in one way I couldn't lose on FriendTech, and it gives me a potential upside. If FriendTech pumps, that's great. I've still got 2 ETH worth of portfolio value in there. So if 2 ETH pumps, I'm stoked. If it doesn't, that's okay. And then I've still got I've got another ETH now sitting there that I'll put into a coin that I want to hold longer term, just to kind of chill on for a bit. And I kind of just see the market going there longer term. I think altcoins are going to run really hard. I can't say when, but I guess I felt out of position with them. So that was really, it kind of killed two birds with one stone, really. So that's why I made the move. It wasn't easy to do. It's funny with FriendTech, you sell keys, and I guess that's the stickiness of it. You kind of feel bad, because I actually had to sell a good friend of mine, who's actually, his keys actually gone up about 4x since I bought. So I kind of, you feel pretty bad. You're like, the investor
made some money off of them. You could take them out for a steak, or
that's right.
Slip on the barbie for them down there in Australia. So don't feel that bad, but it is that. And if you have to sell my key, feel free. I'm really not worth anything.
Oh yeah, and look, at the end of the day, you
don't take it personally.
Got to remind yourself it's money.
But you got to pump yourself, because I don't even think I own yours. But pump yourself up, so then when it's time to let go, it's quite all right. But back to Avery's other point is like, what does it look like for creators and people? Because no matter what, you can build and create on any platform, but there's always going to be a workaround. If it's wrapping an NFT, if it's going on this platform for lower transactions on that. By the way, you can claim a POAP right now. Just type in Blur, capital BLUR, just the B's capital on that. Type in Blur and POAP to claim that POAP, and in there we'll have a whole bunch. It will look like that. Yesterday's prices. This is actually yesterday's prices. So right there you can see Ethereum's up from the 1965 that I plugged in when I made this POAP around this time yesterday, or maybe it was yesterday morning. But there it is, the list that you can see of where things are going in this space. But also, what's going to happen with the artists that are making and producing these things. Is it going to turn into Blur, where people are just making royalties off of flipping and trading, because eventually someone's just going to be held with the bags. And what is the allure to having, the incentive of having more Blur coin? Is it just to sell it later on, just like Rary was back in the day? Like, they give you some options for some discounts, but what is that overall? What is the why in it? Why would people continue want to trade on that platform? Is it to give back to that community? Is it going to give back to Yuga Labs to help, pay the bills? Because there are people that are working there that, do need to get paid. And, secondary sales, when they slow down, people aren't getting paid. And then when there's no royalties on major platforms that people used to trade on, well, then now the well's dried up and you have to make that money somewhere else. So to answer your question, AP, there's always going to be a workaround where people can buy something for cheaper. But it's about doing the right thing. And sometimes to do the right thing, you have to centralize it a little bit and have it maybe go through some physical apparel, so it's actually sent right to your house and you're paying it right towards the source is the best way of doing it. I mean,
yeah, I love brute force vibe. I feel like it's definitely helpful even today. Yeah, I'm thinking, Novo, and this is some speculation by me, but there's a real layup for Yuga, which is to make CryptoPunks, put 1% on the CryptoPunk site and take a royalty percentage off there. And that's, whatever, how many million they make a day or whatever it would be, $10,000 a day, whatever the amount is. I think, there's principle that I think they're still following, which is super nice and fair. And I think people really appreciate, because CryptoPunks definitely has an ethos around it. And I think you know it better than any of us, Crypto Novo. But generally speaking, I think there's ways that they could, they introduced, and this is one thing I'll bring up, but they weren't, taking any royalties on the dogs, right? I forget what they're called. Mutant dogs. They're not called mutant hounds. That's the other thing. My cat's trying to tell me what
you're talking about dogs. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they're basically the whatever they're called. Oh my God. But the Yuga dog things. What are they called, Novo? What are they called?
The canines.
No, yeah. Is that what they're called? The canines?
Now you're getting me at a loss.
I'm forgetting. It doesn't matter. But they were the things that went alongside the mutants. They didn't take a royalty percentage on those. And they, one day Wiley just tweets out, hey, like, should we take 5% off of these dogs that we sell and like start something new and like make something with it? And everybody was like, yeah, sure, do it. Like, he made sure to get like some input from the community. So they should do it. And I don't know what's stopping them. I think it might be principle. But anyways.
They're not mutant hounds, are they?
No, that's the other one. Are they mutant hounds? I'm forgetting. I cannot believe I forgot what they are, but
I'm horrible now.
But they haven't been talked about in months.
You're getting me off. You're getting me off now.
We'll find it.
Yeah, but like that, but where would that end? It'd be cool if there was like Bored Ape Kennel Club.
Boom.
Man, I can't believe I draw a blank on that. A pretty cool one too. But like having that there, like, hey, you're going to pay royalties, but with that, everyone's going to get an AR filter like Crypto Novo, something along those lines where like, hey, those royalties are going to go towards the amplification.
Incentivize it to 100%.
Right. Hey, this is going to be to pay someone so they can help you with, I don't know, answering the phone for customer service, CryptoPunks, how can I help you? Bonobo.
I love it.
Like and then just like stuff like that. So, I mean, it can add up to a larger picture, and you're kind of seeing, I've seen that with Artifact for a while. I've seen that with Jeff Staple forever. I've seen that with Bobby 100 forever. And those are just the brands that have just been sticking around because they've known how to do it from the 90s to 2000s, and they're just bringing it now into the future, 10, 20, 30 years down the line from their origin points. So, yeah, I mean, what the future may hold with it, we have that increased overall volume. We're back above right around the 1.5 trillion mark for the overall market cap. The distribution of what percentage is owned by Bitcoin is being, distributed throughout the market cap as well. And these surges keep on kind of going up and up and up. Hopefully they can hold on, and the news keeps on staying positive because we have had some monstrous news. But I think once more liquidity comes in from ETFs that hopefully are going to be regulated, which we've seen applications for Bitcoin and Ethereum come in, then that's just going to be a waterfall effect to altcoins, to NFTs underneath that. But I think in that layer in there is NFT games. And, what we've seen with Flow and Gala and a lot of the gaming coins with Mana, and the gamification of it is a whole nother aspect that's going to pull a subunit of followers into this mix. That's just going to be exciting.
There's I don't know if you guys saw it. Here we go. Tamagotchi type game that's been released I think it's on the base layer. And that's sort of getting some heat at the moment. What's it called? FriendPet. Novo, FriendPet is the
I saw Pranksy tweeting about it.
Yeah, that was my yesterday. Yeah, Pranksy's on there now, and there's invite codes and all sorts. And I don't know enough about it to comment, but just coming off what you were saying there, yeah, I thought it was, it's interesting, right? And I've seen a few people say I guess it's cool because they've got the opportunity to make money, right? But hey, look, it's something cute, it's something interesting, it's nostalgic, and it's something that's creating interest in something. So I just noticed that sort of come across my Twitter/X recently, so I just quickly wanted to say, hey, that's looks like someone's trying something.
Yeah, look at that. He's made 0.6 ETH off of it right down there. It shows his ETH rewards. So he's made a G off of that. A Tamagotchi game, probably just. And then look at it later. 6 hours ago, he's up to 1.5 ETH right now. So he's
wow.
Within a day's time of just tweeting that, you saw his ETH go up, almost by an entire ETH. And but it's going to be like that. You're going to see spikes like that. Follow the volume. I mean, maybe the volume's in this little game for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's just sort of one that
pull yourself in if you got time for that. I know it's a Sunday and we all got work. Well, most of us got work on Monday, but maybe that's what you devote time into, that is getting those codes in there. And very similar to I know Concept was listening prior. I don't think he's down in the crowd right now, but the game that they made up on the top, if you look up into the We Are Pixel, We Are PXL, they actually have a mini game within their platform, which I was playing. It's an application on the phone that you can pick up and play real quick. Let's see if I can find it, if it's in one of their top tweets. But a lot of people are playing it right here. Just for fun game. And it's a little pixel game where you kind of just jump on these little logs. Very simple on your phone, but maybe they'll have a Crypto Novo jumping around in one of these games soon. You claim a POAP, you can claim that right now. You got 5 minutes. It's BLUR, Blur. Because we were talking about Blur, the unlock today, and hopefully there's a vacuum effect of money going back and forth between them and FriendTech. And who knows? I mean, what is FriendTech? Maybe the new FriendTech was this Tamagotchi game that we were talking about. I can't pull it up at the right time. That a lot of people are playing right now, and that's where the volume is going. And it is now turning into a gamified friend approach, where you invite friends and get paid for a reward system of them playing and staying in tune and having happy health towards their Tamagotchi. But I just view that as a UFO and an alien, and there's a zombie involved in my mind. So that's the way my brain works.
There's three animals in existence that we know of: apes, aliens, and zombies, and that's just about it. That's all we got.
Right. That's all we need to know. They evolved derived from one of those three. I guess without further ado, I wanted to just talk some Ushu today, and I had these close. I was actually putting them into storage, and I'll pull it up right here. This is a Space Matter shoe, Matter of Space. Let's see if I know how to hold it.
Wow.
And
wow.
This is an artifact shoe right here. This is just like the Back to the Future shoe, As you can see, there's no real laces on it. And those of you who have no clue what I'm talking about, you can look up at the pinned tweet at the top and actually see what I'm physically showing right now. And this is the Space Matter Artifact shoe, self-lacing shoes. On the side here, they do have lights that light up that attach to your phone. So it has its own application on it. You tap the heels, and the heels will tighten the laces. And if you look on the side here, it's almost just like a fishing line that they have that tightens with a crank inside, like the old wheel crank. I think those were Puma shoes. Inside tongue right there. Don't even know what it says. I just noticed that right now. I just say Artifact.
I think it does. Yeah, those look awesome, Novo. Even IRL, like I bet when it's super dark, you can put whatever, all the lights on and stuff, and it looks insane. But that's so cool to see, man. I'm super excited for you. And you said you're not gonna wear them, right? You're just putting them in storage. Those are gonna
I think these are gonna be some storage shoes that probably be like, I'll be in my casket, and they're like, all right, strap them in. We're closing the casket now, and then the shoes will strap in as my casket closes. Think of this, I really want to be like cremated and just launched in like a rocket, not like a rocket into space, but like a rocket like you'd see like you'd make in junior high, like
confetti wedding or something.
Yeah, like there goes that crazy asshole. There's like a big streak through the sky,
20 feet in the air.
It's a celebration.
Neighborhood, like, oh, people are like putting their windshield wipers around. Like, get this idiot off my windshield. But, just something fun where like people can have fun with it and enjoy, and just whatever.
Those are cool though, man. Those are historic shoes. I mean, if Artifact, we all think, which it will do, which will be around for a very, very long time in partnership with Nike. I mean, first ofs, right? So I mean, can't really get better than the first of something. Same way that CryptoPunks are the first of something. So I mean, hats off to you, Noah, for scooping that up. I think only good things will come of that, because it's in a historic document that does not depend on anything, but it's self-existing.
And, and a lot of the confidence that has come from that is from people who are listening down below, like JR Token, who kind of told me about the routes of Artifact. And also yourself, AP. Don't sell yourself, Avery, because being a shoe guy and getting to know you the last 2.5 years, I mean, knowing the value in shoes and seeing how, how many sneakerheads there are out there, and how I'm passionate about comic books and other collectibles from my childhood. But I learn a lot from other people, and learning a lot from you, and knowing that there is a huge collectability about this. And there's a huge shoe conference going on this week where Artifact voids, no, not the voids, Artifact, which ones are going to be sold to the public? Yeah, the voids are going to be sold to the public. So like now, like people are going to be drawn into it. And that's what I like to hear about it, because now it's not so much of an echo chamber. Like they're onboarding new people into shoes. Like, well, why would I want to buy these shoes? Wait, there's attachments that go on the shoes. Like, how smart is that? Having attachments on your stinking shoes, just like, gibbets are on Crocs, because those things are on fire right now. Like tons of people are sporting, spending tons of money just on gibbets. So like, why not have that attached to your sneakers to have that extra flair, that extra plus, that extra love within the system. That's it. I think we're going to end down right here, right on the hour. I think we're right on the hour. We're tuning in every Sunday. I do have a bunch of people asking to come on the show. So I think we're going to start maybe pulling on other people, because there are some interesting projects that are coming up, including I tied myself in with a really cool project. It's a philanthropic project with vertical farming in urban areas, and it's linked in with the Nouns DAO. So for my pixelated friends down there, Nouns DAO is funding, and when I mean funding, I mean like $250,000, like no chump change. So I might need to rally some votes for people in the Nouns DAO coming up for a good cause. It's well baked, something that I'm trying to get behind as well. So that might be coming up soon. But yeah, I'm thankful for, let's go around the room and just do thankful things real quick. But, I'm thankful for people in the space giving me knowledge, like, Craig coming on the last 6, 7, 8 weeks now, and just dropping down alpha and info that I just can't keep up to date on. Just don't have the time. Still in the teaching in the classroom. And also, like I mentioned for AP back a couple minutes ago, for giving me the confidence to look outside of just the digitals and kind of getting into the physicals and what that can branch into. So thankful things that could be anything. AP can be about the new beast that you have crawling around in the background.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's all my girlfriend's doing. She has a lot of love to give. We both do. And we take care of, cats that are found on the street. We give them a home, and then they get like finally adopted. So thankful for my girlfriend for introducing me to the wonderful world of cats, which I was afraid of growing up, and am slightly allergic, but I love them so much. I tolerate them. So that's a big grateful for. Obviously, I don't know. There's one big thing that I've been thinking about recently, which is like having free time. I think there's a lot of people in this world who do not have any free time, like zero. They have to work 24 hours, as much as they can, and then they sleep, and then they wake up and they work again. And I think for me, having some time, I'm in between jobs right now. I just left one of my sneaker gigs that I have. One of my stores closed down, but just having a little bit of time, having some money saved up, and being able to explore and sleep and actually relax. Not a lot of people in this world get the amount of time that I've had even in these last couple of weeks. So grateful for that. On to you, Craig.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, just look, I guess mainly thankful to sort of have, my friends, my family, and my health. And sort of secondly to that, grateful to find myself in a space a little bit like Avery said, where I have the opportunity to spend time doing the things I love. And one of those things is obviously being in this space, being, crypto, Web3, whatever you want to call it. So really thankful to have found this space here. And hopefully we can continue to talk about it, grow it, and send it in the right direction that, has integrity and build something special for our kids and those coming along after us.
Yes. My knowledge that I've learned in the past, I've been trading in a trading pattern, pretty awesome. The last 3 flag pennants up, and the knowledge has paid off, and I'm seeing it now into the altcoins a little bit, because I've just been a master of Ethereum. I wish I branched out and got into the master of Solana or something like that, but just try to stay in my avenue, stay in my path. I am trying to branch out a little bit more, like I was showing off before, onto YouTube and onto Instagram, to kind of just get more action out there, so I can have people learn from this. I have 606 videos on Web3 stuff. Now this is 607. Some of it is YouTube stuff. It has CryptoPunk purchases when they're just a couple $100. First time using AR filters. It has interviews with huge people in the Web3 space. Instagram, I'm trying to put stuff on there just to get more followers, so people can see the space. And then, tons of stuff. There's Avery Piper, full beard and hair right there. But
yeah, man.
Stuff that will be in the archives for years to come, because it needs to be seen. And it's also a barometer. So when I see more people following in those spaces, I know that there's an uptick within the system. And, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next Sunday. Go get it out there. If you're out there for the holiday season shopping, if you're going out and traveling, safe travels. Be thankful for just sitting down and having a nice warm meal. A lot of people can't even get a clean cup of water in some parts of the world. And so just be thankful for the little things at times.
Amen.
That's it. Stay positive and love life. Peace.
23, 69. 23, 69. We are in the Novo verse. Novo verse. We are in the Novo verse. Novo verse. We in the Novo verse. In the Novo verse. We in the Novo verse. In the Novo verse. It's lit in the Novo verse. In the Novo verse. NFTs in the Novo verse. The Novo verse. We are in the Novoverse. Novoverse. We are in the Novoverse. Novoverse.
On here, and I see you listening on there. You want to have a meeting real quick?
Let's do it.
Yeah. That's it. Positive love life. I'm ending it. Peace.